Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Flying with OverKill AV-8B Harrier for DCS World, and today we're going to take a look at dropping some unguided munitions. We're going to be using the Mark 82 Snake Eyes. We're going to take a look at both high altitude and low altitude bomb delivery. Again, these are for unguided CCIP releases. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started setting up the aircraft. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is obviously set up the cockpit. So let's go ahead and go to our stores page. Set our air-to-ground mode, set our master arm, and now to arm the weapons we can do one of two things. We can either select the station down here, and any station that has the same type of weapon on it will automatically get selected. So for example, if we go to 5, go to 3, go to 1, go to 2, they all come up. Okay, so let's go to 3, there we go. Now to arm it, we can either come down here, which this is our mode. So we're in auto mode, we want to go to CCIP. But now our fusing, we can click and go through nose, delayed and safe. We want, there we go, nose in. Quantity, we're going to drop 2. By the way, as far as all the different fusings, the reason why I'm not talking about those yet is I actually can't get any confirmation that they're actually modeled yet. As soon as I get confirmation of that, then I'll go over that, but I don't want to fill you guys with a bunch of information that's unnecessary right now. So quantity is 2, multiplier is 1, and then our interval, how far apart do we want the bombs to release from each other. Now we can do the same thing up on the UFC. So quantity 2, multiplier 1, interval 0, fusing, nose in. Okay? So it's the same principle, it's just a matter of which one that you want to use. I almost find the armament panel easier to use. It's less back and forth, right? So anyway, so the next thing we want to do is we're also going to want to use the DMT, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. So let's select the DMT. All right. Now coming up to the HUD for a second, we can see that we're in CCIP mode. Here's our bomb steering line, just like any other aircraft. When you're on the bomb run, you want to make sure you keep this as vertical and straight as you can. Here's our reflected cue. The reflected cue indicates that the distance from here to this hashed crosshair shows you the distance that this crosshair is actually below the HUD's field of view. Okay, so that's really important to remember. This hashed crosshair that you guys can see here is not the actual target location. This is not where the bombs will fall. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpause here, and I'm going to pitch nose down so you guys can see how this works. So I'm going to pitch down. There we go. Sing it. Boom. So you saw when that reflected cue line fell below the crosshair then turned solid. When the crosshair is solid, anything that's in the center of this, that's your target. That's where the bombs ideally should go, assuming that the rest of the parameters match up. All right? So now that we've seen that, let's go ahead and take a look at an actual bomb run. All right, it's coming up here. Switch our waypoint, start heading over to our target area. Now the neat thing that will happen is at the time that we release the bomb, once we pick a location, we will see a mark point generated on the HUD. That mark point will stay there until we use our nose wheel steering button or our target undesignate button and be a visual guide to us for in the event of a re-attack. The other cool thing about it is once that mark point is created, the reason why we have the DMT up is the DMT will focus on that location. Let's go ahead and speed up time a little bit. Alright, now one more thing that we actually want to be aware of before we initiate our attack is we want to set our altitude limits. So when we tap altitude, this is our altitude warning. You know, that warning you get when you get too low to the ground. I like to set that pretty low personally. But over here, if you hit PUC, this stands for pickup cue. What this will do is give us an indicator on the HUD on the bomb steering line of when we're approaching 4,000 foot of the selected altitude, and we're going to set that to the radar altimeter in just a second. So let's hit enter there. Radar altimeter's down there. I just triggered it. There we go. And then we also want to make sure we activate the pickup cue. Bomb and GPS are also active. Okay. So now let's go ahead and unpause again. We're 5 miles from the target area, so let's go ahead and pitch down and come in on it. And just like most aircraft, we want to go between 30 and 45 degrees. In our case, we're going to go a little more shallow than that just because of our approach angle. I should have waited a little bit longer to dive down. It's all right. Pull some power off here. You can see here here is our pickup queue. When this line reaches the flight path indicator, we've reached 4,000 feet of altitude. And watch that as we get closer. I'll try to keep my head back so you can see. It's approaching that 4,000 feet. Now I'm going to pickle. So we got 2 bombs away. You can see our mark point has now been created right between those 2 vehicles. And you can see the pickup queue fell above the flight path indicator. As soon as it went above the flight path indicator, you can see that we had crossed the 4,000 foot line. All right, let's go ahead and unpause. Pull that nose up. Track our bombs. And that was a shack. That guy went to another town there. All right, now that we have a mark point created, what we get here is a visual indicator of where the target is in relationship to the aircraft, because it's not going to give us a waypoint indication. Okay, we're not going to get it like we get the waypoint indicator. So the waypoint marker is on the center of that target area still. But what we do get is this guy right here that gives us an idea of where the bearing is to the target point that we just created. You can also see here on the HUD that we have 1.2 miles from the target as that mark point has now been created. Now I'm going to go ahead and extend out a little bit and let you guys see what happens as we turn around with the DMT. Whoa. And this is what happens when you fly with time sped up. And we are slowing way down is the problem. Woo, doggy. Let's see you guys fly at 8 times normal speed. It's not easy, especially the Harrier. All right, so we're 15 miles out. Let's go ahead and come back around. You can see that bearing indicator coming around. There's the target area. And now you can see our mark point indicating our target location. The other thing that happened, pausing it, you can see the DMT has now focused on that area. Now the cool part is that once we've done this, so let's say we hit the target, but there's another one in the area. If I unpause, I can move the DMT around, which is also moving our target indicator. So if we needed to reattack, and for example, now what we could do also is if I hit the cage uncage button on your HOTAS, we can switch to auto mode, okay, or CCRP. Okay, but in this case, let's go ahead and leave it at CCIP. I can also press and hold the weapons release button. It looks like we're too far out of the range to do so. Let's go ahead and pitch it down here a little bit. Not sure how we came off the stores page. I must have bumped something I didn't want to bump. There we go. Now we've got our bomb steering line, although that seems very much not accurate. Let's try that again here. So I'm going to deselect that target with my nose wheel steering button. Pressing and holding. Puts us into CCRP mode. I'm holding that button down. Trying to fly as straight as I can. Here's the bomb fall line. Bombs away. Guarantee they're going to miss. That was a terrible approach. But hopefully you guys will get the gist. And I can't imagine what the aircraft's doing right now. Actually, hey. I can always spawn a new plane, right? And see how bad we missed here. Like I said, that's totally my fault. Plus we were dropping dumb bombs. That wasn't terrible. Got in the same vicinity. But anyway, so that is the short and long of CCIP bombing with some CCRP functionality. Remember to undesignate your mark point if you guys want to create a new one. And then if you want to use CCIP mode or CCRP mode, so where this could come in handy is, let's say we had a target. Let's do one more run here. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So we didn't want to get in close, right? But let's say that tree is a horrible person and owes us a lot of money. Pressing and holding. It looks like bombs already released. Okay? But they dropped in a CCRP mode. As long as you can pitch down, and you can do this with the reflected crosshair, when it's the hashed crosshairs. Boom. That's what that guy gets for not paying me the 20 bucks he owes me. You can do that every time. So sitting here in CCIP mode here, we can also tap our button, we'll mark a point. Knows we're steering to undesignate, but remember, if you have bombs, it will trigger the bomb. Okay, but we can also press and hold, and as long as we are pressing and holding right now, I could level back out and do a CCRP drop. Now, another place where this could be kind of cool, all right, is let's say we have a target. Let's see here. There we go. Let's say that thing, whatever it is out there, is an unfriendly guy, and we need to do a low altitude strike against it, right? So we could do a press and hold. I know I missed, but you guys will get the gist. Dive down low. I'm still pressing and holding that weapons release button. But now, when we come back up, we would have our bomb steering line for a low altitude pass. Okay, for like high drag bombs. Anyway, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know if you guys have any questions or comments down below. If there's anything I missed, any blanks that you guys want to fill in, please, by all means. I do not take offense to that. My objective here is to share as much information as I can. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.